Welcome, friends. Today's project is making spring placemats, and I can't wait to share with you how easy these are to make. I've got my spring table all set, so let's get started. I did make 8 of these, but today I've only set out 5, and I've gone to Walmart, picked out some beautiful Waverly fabrics, some coordinating colors, a blue paisley, a check, and then a solid color for the backing, and then you're going to need some poly foam quilt batting to make these nice and puffy. I even had some lace in my stash, so I'm going to add that. And of course, I will give all of the pattern measurements in the description box below, but this is what you need to start off making placemats. Now, I pulled out one of my charger plates to use as a pattern. This is the one I use in the fall. So I just pulled it out, and the base of my placemats is going to be this beautiful kind of teal green. So I'm just tracing around the charger plate, and that is the bottom. I will do that again for the top. Then you're going to cut out all of these pieces. I'm also going to cut out a circle out of the poly batting that will go between the top and bottom layers. Now, to begin with, I made one complete placemat. So I would have my pattern and just worked out all the details. There's the back. And so now I'm going to show you step by step how to make these. So the top circle, the paisley print, is going to be quilted to that quilt batting. And I did that right on the machine. I just started a circular motion on my machine and sewed round and round until I had it completely quilted. That didn't take any time. That was really easy. Now this is the backing, and we're going to put right sides together. But before we do that, I really wanted a pretty ruffled or pleated edging on this. Now you could have done a ruffle, but I took my fabric, folded it in half, and pressed it. And we're going to do a pleat. Now my circle, I have found the center point at the top and the center point of my long strap that I'm going to be pleating. And that's important because you want both sides to be equal. And so as you can see, I'm just going to, and I kind of did this freehand. I pretty much did about an inch pleat, but I'm going all the way around the circle, pinching up a pleat. Then I take my iron, press it flat, and then I'm going to pin it. And I go all the way down to the bottom center of this circle, and then I'll stop and I go back to the top and do the other side. That way the pleats are nice and even. I didn't run out of fabric, and I got all the way around the circle. Again, I will leave the measurements in the description box below. Now, once I got both sides pinned all the way around, I took the two sides, trimmed them, and then folded the edges together and kind of tucked them into each other. That way you never saw where you start or began with the pleat. Now, if you don't want to worry about a pleat, you could certainly skip this step, or if you find it much easier to gather it, then you could do that. But there it is, all pinned. I'm going to add one more pin. I've pressed it as I go, and now it's time to sew it on the machine. Now let me show you how to use the start-stop button for sewing instead of using your foot pedal. So it's very easy. You get your fabric in place, you hit the start button, and then it automatically begins sewing. First, I need to unplug my foot pedal, and then the start stop icon will show up on the computer, and then you just press that and begin sewing. Stay to the end of the video and you will see me give a demonstration on how to use the foot pedal. So I sewed all the way around the ruffled edge, attaching it to the top of the placemat with raw edges together. Now it is time to add the back of the placemat to the top. So I'm just layering it right on top, right sides together, and then we're going to pin this in place. And I go all the way around pinning, and I'm going to leave a 2-inch gap so that we can turn this after we have sewn it with a 5/8 inch seam. Now once it's sewn together, I've left that 2-inch gap. We're going to turn it inside out, and you will see that everything is caught nicely. You don't see any seam lines, and it is good to go. I'm going to fold over that back edge and then hand stitch that down later. Alright, so we're getting it all ready, and I thought, you know what, it really needs a little pop, so I am going to add some really pretty trim. Okay, turn it back over, and I'm going to add my lace trim right along that pleated edge, and I'm going to pin it in place. And instead of machine stitching it, I kind of like my back to look finished. So I'm just going to hand sew this, or just whip stitch it all the way around. So I've got my needle and thread, and then I am just going to go all the way around with the needle and thread and just quickly whip stitch this into place. So I did all 7. This is a nice thing to do at night when you're watching TV. You can see I didn't want a seam line on that back. So I'm just going to use my needle and thread and just catch that first layer of that pleat and go all the way around, sewing it into place. Yes, this is an extra step, but I just really wanted my back to look nice and pretty and clean, so I just decided to go ahead and hand stitch this. And this is the finished product. I think it looks so pretty, springy. It looks really nice on my table with my white dishes. And I'm so glad I got 8 of these made, and maybe I can use these for Easter. But let me share with you real quick my pin cushion. I took an antique china cup and plate. I used E6000 glue to adhere it to my little plate. I cut a circle, filled it with polyfoam, and kind of sewed it together, and then I hot glued it right into the top of this teacup. And now this is my pin cushion, and this has been the most handy thing I've made in a long time because I'm really using this now. So that's an idea for you. They make great gifts. Now in upcoming videos, y'all, I went to Walmart and they had this new Emma and Mila fabric, the navy and the orange and yellow. Isn't that beautiful? So I had to pick up a pack of each, and I thought, what am I going to make with this? There's the matching coordinating color with all of these beautiful fabrics, and I thought, you know what, I haven't made casserole totes in years. So I've got this cotton batting that is particularly for casserole totes, and so that's coming up. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss that one. I've been asked to demonstrate how to use the foot pedal on this electric sewing machine. So here is the foot pedal, and I'm going to plug it into the side of the sewing machine. A little icon comes up and shows that you do have your foot pedal plugged in, and so we're just going to sit down at the machine. This is the way I have always sewn, is using a foot pedal. So it's going to take me a while to get used to that stop and start sewing stitch, but you just get yourself in position and press that foot pedal, and I've just learned how to do it over the years, to let go and to go fast, and it's not that hard. So this is me demonstrating the foot pedal. I'm just sewing around and around that placemat. This is my preferred way to sew. So I hope you enjoyed this little tutorial on how to make round placemats. Thank you so much for watching. Please let me know in the comments what you think. Hope you all have a blessed and safe week.